I'm sure you know, but this is a DM's guide, okay? Somebody might just jump to this video on its own. If you're a player, get away. Zorzula was a powerful Durgar in charge of the mining in this part of the Sword Mountains. Centuries ago, it was taken over by mind flayers, and then even the mind flayers left. But they left a crystal to be found, and who found it were Sorplea goblins. The one who found it, Ruxathid the Chosen. He found this thing, and it spoke to him and made him lodge it in his brain, thus forming a link to talk to him telepathically and have him do all the dirty work. Toxic fumes from the blue sulfuric lava. So that's DC 10 con saves every hour if a player can be poisoned. Remember, it's not just in those pools, it's in the walls. It channels around and illuminates in troughs on the wall, everywhere in this place. If you approach from area 1, which is one of 3 options, there's a tiny tunnel at the front to sneak in on the rock face. There's an actual chimney vent you can come down, or there's the main double doors. These double doors have arrow slits in with goblins, side commander goblins, who can be convinced to open the door for you. Now the door is unlocked, it's just very heavy. As you enter area 2, you will hear the clattering of knives and forks on spoons on dishes. Area 3, the 3 stone tables. 2d4 goblins, 1d6 Psy brawlers, 1d4 Psy commanders. Before it breaks out here, which presumably it will, the goblins want to subdue, not kill the party to be more prisoners. Now if you've got the sort of party who talk things out, the goblins will allow free roam if your players go and take care of the monsters in Z7. The ghosts of former Durgar. 4, there are bunk beds, there's snoring. 1d6 psionic brawlers. If you get to talking here, a goblin will say, Ruxathid is probably in the blue room, communing with the gods. This is the first time they'll see the broken mine shaft with minecarts on rails. This is fixable with a crackling shard in the corner. You have to burn a spell slot to fix it with some arcane power. But this forms effectively a monorail of sorts, a ghost train, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, and will help them, but they might not do that. But automatic movement around the place is a good idea. Area 5, stinky toilets. There's a dented secret door-ish door down one end. Through there is this room with a bubbling water. I think of it as a jacuzzi. This jacuzzi, for every 10 minutes you spend in there, will regain 3 health. The door to 7 is barricaded. Listening at the door, you can hear low moans and footsteps. You go through 3 anvils in a row being worked on in unison, clunk, clunk, by 3 ghostly dwarves. Now above your heads are these big troughs that go along and halt and maybe tip every now and again and then just click along. This is bucket carrying and goes all the way to the end of the thing and then down and then all the way along. It goes like that along the whole place. Because it is a spot where you can literally, if you fix it, climb on, and it's like a lift, you know, so it's a descending one across and an ascending one between levels. There is a step ladder movable to climb up to one of the buckets. This conveyor belt of buckets is broken at the moment, can be fixed. Again, this will come in handy if you're wanting to plunder later on. So these 3 Anvil Durgar have stats that we'll look at the end, and they're the stats of Feral Ashen White. Across the floor are scatterings of pieces of weapons and pieces of armour, which can be constructed together by the players, and you can craft a new weapon, be it new style, or if you're feeling a bit spicy with a +1, whatever you feel's applicable and fair. In 8, there's sacks of foods, and there's also a giant badger with a heading side one. Pulls its snout out, it's got a little rope hanging round with the word Bessie on it. It's the pet badger of the goblins. Completely friendly and loves its belly rubbed. Be prepared for somebody with speak with animals to ask this a load of questions. Area 9, there's barrels and crates, and between that, there's actually a little tunnel in or out. Also in this room, 2 potions of healing and a potion of psionic fortitude. Again, let's look at it later. They've been here, these are like 9 rooms in. Is that an hour past? Do you need another con save because of the poison? Think about that. Area 10 is locked. Well, it's Ruxathid's bedroom. Ruxathid himself has the key in his pocket, but a little force or lock pickery, whatever you want, can get your team in. 4-poster bed, beautiful. Books, jars on a shelf, a mahogany desk. It's got a map on it and crumpled notes. This map shows the whereabouts of 4 obelisk shards in a vague way. There's a map at the end which actually has the X's on the map and arrows for what's where. But this is only partial. But what is that noise coming from the jars on the shelf? Well, it's the spirit of a Durgar, of course. Kjoldak Hollowhelm, in fact, the last mining captain. You know, when you get like tubs of medicine that have to keep kids out, and sometimes you have to line up the arrows before you pop the top off. Not some sort of contraption on the lid like that, so that you have to line it up. But a good strong smash will also release him. Use the psionic ashen white stats. Again, end of the video. Kjoldak could be useful, again, for if you want to drop any lore or explanation or hints as to get things fixed so they move around easier. It's a DM info drop. There's your chance. You know, if a deal needs striking to release his soul, I know where there's a secret compartment in here. It's in the bed. There's also a secret door. It has 4 dwarvish runes on it. Storm, death, light, and wind. Or a trap activates on the final press if the answer's wrong. In 11, stagnant air. No one has been in here for ages. It's a treasure room. But what's their carrying capacity? That's a lot of treasure. Hey, if you fixed the motorized buckets, that'd help. In area 12, this is where some of the buckets ascend. Did they fix the lifting buckets? 13 has like a side track in there where they fix carts. There are 6 carts in here in need of repair. There are dull shards which can be magicalized, I'm saying. You can put magic in and fix the carts, and you've got an automated monorail cart. Oh look, 3 skeletons with their heads caved in from where mind flayers ate their brains. 14 is a cavern full of crystal, like a geode. Inside all the walls sparkle. You can chip some off, and these crystals can be useful. Magical crystals, giving the players those, who knows how they will try and use those. But if you chip away wrong, there's a cost, and that cost is pain. There's also 3 Gricks who have been here for so long they're covered in magical crystals. Can they firebolt now? Just an idea. In this room, the carts actually slow down to be loaded up as they crawl through and then speed off down the helter-skelter of rails. In 15, there's 3 levels of wooden scaffold. Your guys come along the top. Looking down, there are spirits who are clawing and bashing away at a cave, never making progress. They're amiable enough if you don't attack, but another info drop. 3 feral ashen whites and 2 psionic ashen whites. 16 is a stinky sewage pile. Down some kind of steep embankment into the poop is a mutated Otyug. You can see through its skin into its stomach that there's a glowing, luminous war pig. That's cool, actually, wizards. In 17, there is a statue of a dwarf in ceremonial armor, broken into large chunks. A strange symbol is on the base, and also smeared with a fluid of some kind. The statue is infused with far realm energy. Outer, beholder, weirdness, alien space is that far realm. It's smeared so that they have to clean it off to read what it says or see what it looks like. Hence, you've touched it, DC 20 charisma save, or cursed with headaches. Vulnerable to psychic damage, and visions of your best mind flayer tentacled illusions, DMs. Enjoy. There's also a ring of mind shielding too, which we'll look at. 18, a room of crates. Some covered in tap, some not. Metal creaking off in the distance, and a massive drill on wheels. Kind of will see it in glowing. There's a fire still lit in the insides. Surprise, it's a construct and it's going to kill you. There's a gem of brightness. I don't know what that is. There's other gems. Loads of unpurified iron ore. Again, did you fix the buckets for extraction? 19, blistering heat. An obsidian pyramid. Pictures on each side of the pyramid show dwarven scenes. At the bottom though, there's a recessed double door, glowing with runes. They flare with a green energy. Now you can only get in if you are psionic, i.e. psionic goblin, psionic illithid. Well, I'll just break the door down. There's a little magical lock. It is completely immune to anything but psychic damage. I don't like that. Not a fan at all. Or you can thieves tools it. No, I don't like that. Not at all. Puzzle time. Do the runes say something in dwarvish or goblin or whatever? Here are 2 very quick examples I found in this book, or just look up any other word puzzles where you select the correct letter. There's some, what animal rhymes with Matt, and you have to put the words to the letters to cat. You know what I mean. So inside is a circular stone, basically a lift these doors open and it raises up and down like a PlayStation platform game. So if you're walking and it's coming down, you'll get crushed. Get out. Stand on it. You go up. Doors open. You're in the Indigo Sanctum. Obsidian walls with 2 waterfalls sloshing away, but it's lava. It's that toxic lava. In a smaller room, do we make saves again? Down the end is a statue of a dwarven woman, but her head is kind of missing half of it. You can still see her smile though. Our enemy, Ruxathid, is hiding behind, well, not necessarily hiding, just stood behind one of the statues. Bring him out as you see fit, but he knows that instantly the characters are there. Look at him, he looks well cool hovering away like that. Maybe you hear his echoey voice first. He's got a calm, sing-songy voice. I thought you turned up. Maybe not that one. You have to describe his eyes rolling back as he communes with the people in his head, having a second secret conversation. Ruxathid beams out to this statue and the statue animates. Shield Guardian stat. Now, don't have enemies like this on their own. I'm going to have at least one goblin from both sides. Psionic goblins make this fight a little bit more varied. There are kidnapped people in one of the sides, but once defeated, Ruxathid falls to the floor and smashes his crystallized brain on the floor. And a message plays like a recording of what Ruxathid had heard before.
So you have succeeded. Good.
Etc. Ruxathid's keys on him, if you need that to roll out of his pocket. There's plenty of hostages, mostly dead, and 3 very, very close to death.
They moved the healthier ones. There's just us left.
There's info to be gleaned from the book about who they are. It doesn't really matter. But hey, in the war room, there's a map. The map is fully fledged. These are where the players need to go next. You need to follow the kidnapped people, players, to these 3 locations. They got a Fandolin, maybe, and they can get paid by Harbin. Right, let's look at stats and magic items. Brawler, AC 15. We've done these in a previous video. Their resistance to psychic. 30-foot telepathy. If they die, they explode. They make 2 unarmed attacks, plus 5. 5 plus another 3 psychic to hit. If you got cursed by the thing earlier, you're vulnerable to this psychic damage, you take double. Nimble escape and telekinetic shove. Psychomander is AC 16, quite a lot more health. He has more telepathy range. He does extra psychic damage. He makes 3 psychic blade attacks. We looked at this in the last video. Telekinesis, Charm Person, Synaptic Rend, more psychic damage and incapacitated. Psionic Shield, which is cool. The Psionic Ashen White, AC 16, 120 health max. Takes half damage from necrotic, poisoned and psychic. Quite a lot of immunities. It makes 2 necrotic shard attacks and the Psionic Crown if available. So necrotic shard is plus 7, 60-foot range, does 7 piercing damage plus 9 necrotic, and that person has disadvantage on their next attack roll. The Psionic Crown, it wreathes the head of a creature it can see in jagged spectral crystals. DC 40 wisdom save or you're charmed for a minute. Your thoughts are sluggish, can't take reactions, speed is half, 9 psychic damage at the start of every turn until you save out of it. Spellcasting psionics once a day. Calm emotions. You attempt to suppress the emotions in a group of people. Each humanoid in 20-foot radius makes a charisma save, and it basically seems to calm them down and not want to attack. Feral Ashen White then is AC 16, hit points 100, speed 25 feet. Interestingly, it makes 2 necrotic shard attacks, 7 necrotic damage, and then disadvantage on the next attack roll for the person hit. The Otyugh Mutate, AC 16, 122 health perhaps, immune to poison, etc. Right, Virulent Breath, a noxious gas from the mutate's digestion of meals comes out. Each person within 5 feet, a DC 15 con save or 1d6 poison. So it makes 2 attacks and can replace one with a chitin slam. Bite is plus 7, DC 15 or poisoned. He reduces the hit point max by 5. Tentacles, 13 bludgeoning damage with a plus 7 to hit. Grapple, you're restrained. It has 2 tentacles, so it can do this to 2 people. The Chitin Slam. One person it's grappling must succeed on DC 15 con save or 3d10 bludgeoning and have the stunned condition. We love a stun unless it happens to one of my NPCs. This Fiendish Augur looks pretty cool. Construct, so some spells say can't be done on undead or constructs. Watch out for that. It's immune to fire and poison. 135 health, thank you. Blind sight of 60 feet. Doesn't have eyes, doesn't need them. It senses you, just senses you. This deals double damage to the structures around it. It can burrow down 10 feet and come up like a mole. Think of it as a mechanical mole. Flaming Divine Drill attack. +9, 17 piercing damage on average, +7 fire damage on average. It can make a rush along 20 feet, do additional 2d10 piercing, and if you fail a DC 17 strength save, you're knocked over. The Burst of Heat bonus action, so it can be done on the same turn, an intense burst of heat in a 30-foot radius. DC 17 con save or 3d8 fire damage. Tasty! Alright, my guy Ruxithid the Chosen. He has a chain shirt on, AC 15, 144 health is pretty meaty. He can hover, fly, essentially, 30 feet. Twice a day, he can choose to succeed on a save. Lovely. He has advantage on saves against Charmed and Frightened. He makes 2 side-charged scimitar attacks. +7 to hit, 11 average slashing, +7 psychic. Are you vulnerable to it? A bonus action, Brain Tendrils. Crystalline psychic tendrils from his brain target a creature within 30 feet. Make a DC 15 dex save or take 2d8 psychic damage and be stunned. Wonderful. Combat command. He commands an allied creature, one of those other goblins. The creature can immediately use its reaction to make a melee attack against a target within reach. Not too shabby at all. Now I've got to remember what magical items we're talking about. Bessie the Badger, we don't need his stats. There's a Dagger of Venom. Pretty cool looking dagger. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage made with this weapon. You use an action to make it coated with venom. It remains for a minute or until an attack using this weapon hits a creature. It's a DC 15 save for that enemy, 2d10 poison, and becomes poisoned for a minute. Yeah, pretty cool. The Luminous War Pick. Gain +1 bonus to attack and damage with this pick. As a bonus action, you can cast a Daylight spell, and then a Ring of Mind Shielding. While wearing this ring, you are immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts. I see. To determine whether you are lying or to know your alignment or what creature type, well, that's all ridiculous. You can use an action to cause the ring to become invisible until you so no one knows you're wearing it if you want. If you die, your soul enters it, unless it already houses a soul. As long as your soul is in the ring, you can telepathically communicate with any creature who wears it. Well, ain't that something? Don't think I've missed anything, but I apologise if I have. Thanks for watching. See you next time.